So, Eddie, it's been a while.
Yes.
Back in Manchester, and what a card it is, Quigg versus Carroll.
Yeah, big main event. I mean, I was gutted when this card didn't come through, this show didn't come through, fight even, for Carroll against Quigg in Saudi. It was one of those that when I got made, just got a great response. Obviously, Scott Quigg had a recurrence of the elbow injury. Now it's here, Manchester, he gets a chance. I think both guys are secretly pleased because they're headlining. And you could tell by the way Jono spoke about this opportunity and say, I'm headlining in Manchester Arena on Sky Sports. This is a massive opportunity for me. You know, two guys, similar stages in terms of what they're trying to do, get a shot at the world title. Scott's been a world champion, tried to unify the division. And, you know, I think that Jono Carroll, great fight against Tevin Farmer for the world title. And now he's got the bit between his teeth, so Scott, a lot of words between them, and they're both right up for it.
It's an interesting story with him and Tevin as well. We spoke about that on camera before, about him going over to America and actually watching the fight at his house. As a promoter, how often is it that you see things like that?
It's very unusual. I think what Jono does is he kind of gets it in his head that this is the opponent and this is my, you know, my nemesis. But Jono is a lovely guy, and I think once that's all over, he can be himself again. And you know, he's got a good heart. So I think, I'm not sure whether Scott will accept that after this fight, but you know, I wouldn't say there's beef in this fight. I just think it's two guys that think they're going to win by knockout and don't mind telling each other.
And seeing Scott with Joe Gallagher again, that's an interesting move, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he went to America, and I think knowing Scott, moving to America, he's probably the last person you'd expect to go and move into California.
Yeah.
But he did, and he enjoyed it, you know. And but I think with this fight in America, so in Manchester, and you know, with it being so close, I think he felt that he needed to move to a trainer that knew him. You know, Jono said about moving trainers. He is moving trainer, but he was with Joe for a long time. You know, I think he's going to slot straight in pretty comfortably, and you know, he'll be in great shape for the fight.
You mentioned it being a massive year for Hughie Fury. The sorts of names that he could be facing, are there any in particular that you'd like to see?
I think this
face?
fight's going to be of a similar level to his Monaco fight that slipped through at the end of November. He really needs for me to go and get a good performance under his belt and a good win. You know, he needs a guy, quality fighter. He's not going to be fighting a Povetkin or a Parker or a Pulev who he's faced in the past. But he needs to show new things. You know, he talks about his hand now. He couldn't throw that properly for over a year. So we've got to see it. You know, you've got to be entertaining. You can't just be awkward and nick a fight. We want to see Hughie Fury come out with a little bit more aggression, make a statement. I think he knows now what he's got to do. And hopefully he does that in Manchester on March 7th.
Speaking of the heavyweight division, arguably, well, it actually definitely is the most talked about division in the sport of boxing right now. So many great fights being talked about. Obviously, we'll get straight to it. AJ Pulev, where are we at with that one? There's been so many.
Yeah, in discussions, good discussions. I mean, we've got a good relationship with her team. As you'd expect, Pulev wants to go to the venue that delivers him the most money.
Right.
AJ wants to do it in London. Very straightforward. But we are looking at all options and seeing what is out there, and we'll present it to Team Pulev as well. You know, at the end of the day, if they don't agree, then we won't do the fight. But we want to fight Pulev. Pulev wants to fight AJ. It's a big opportunity for Pulev to make a lot of money. It's a good fight, and it makes sense to be the next one. Usyk is next after that. You know, that's been established, and we're trying to make the Chisora fight very close now for March 28th. Hopefully we get that over the line. And then you've got Dillian Whyte, who's looking to fight probably either Povetkin or Andy Ruiz. So you've got sort of three big heavyweight nights all planned, and hopefully we can do all three of them in the UK.
Yeah, and two of those would be quite close to each other in London as well, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I mean, I think March 28th will be at the O2.
Right.
Could bring Dillian to Manchester, end of April, early May, and then
awesome.
Joshua in London. But like I say, if we can do all three in the UK, it'd be great.
Right now, who would you rather see Dillian face between Ruiz and Povetkin?
I've always liked the Povetkin fight. I think it's a filthy war. The Ruiz fight's big. You know, I don't think Ruiz will come to the UK, and therefore Dillian would have to go to the US, which we would consider. But right now, I think Povetkin is the front runner.
How easy were those conversations with Ruiz before that fight? Does he still feel that, he mentioned the trilogy fight with AJ, has he kind of got his heart firmly set on that one? Do you think?
No, I think he knows he's got to have another, you know, decent win. If he beat Dillian Whyte, the third fight with AJ would be, you know, something you could start talking about. But right now, AJ's career is mapped out for the next 12 months, and Andy Ruiz is going to need a good win.
Is Ruiz someone that you'd like to have on board at Matchroom?
Yeah, I think so. Like, he's got a contract with PBC, so we'll see. But I like it. Andy Ruiz, I think he's a great story. I think he's a great character, and I think he can really fight. I think you're going to see Andy Ruiz in some great fights this year.
It's just the weight, isn't it? He needs to.
Yeah, but he's never. I mean, look, he came in. What was he? 9, 10, 11 pound heavier.
Did you anticipate that on fight week?
No, I think he might have ate a little bit too much in Saudi, but he trained hard for that fight. They can talk now. Too much time celebrating. He probably did, but you know what? AJ had too much time doing media and other bits and pieces before the first fight, so he made that mistake. He corrected it, and I think they never really gave AJ enough credit for the performance. Team Ruiz, they should have said, look, maybe I celebrated a bit too much, but I've got to say I was completely and utterly schooled tonight, because it doesn't matter whether you're a little bit heavy, you can still let your hands go, you can still do all the things you've done your whole career, but he couldn't do it because he weren't good enough to deal with Anthony Joshua on that night.
Fury Wilder next month as well. If you had to pick one person to win that one, who would you say?
Well, I want Fury to win. One, because I like him, and two, because he's Brit. From a global fight perspective, I would like Wilder to win. I think Wilder Joshua, because I know, because I've been speaking to people, is monstrous now. But like I said, hopefully Tyson Fury gets the win.